everyone, this is Shirley Farrar, and you are entering Encouragement on Fire. I'm so glad that you decided to join me today, and we are going to talk about osteoporosis. This is part 3 of our segment for the month of May 2023. And I believe that I'd like to really get into some of the things that we eat each and every day. What are the things that are most important for our bones to keep our bones healthy? It's not an exact science. However, the things that we choose each and every day for our breakfast, our lunch, and our dinner, those are the things that are going to make up the majority of our good health or our other health. So what we want to do is we want to promote good health all the time. And today we're talking about healthy bones. The osteoporosis is something that's a condition that has affected millions of people each and every year, particularly those that are over the age of 50. But we want to make sure that as you are moving forward, that you're seeing symptoms or signs, not necessarily it's osteoporosis, but you're seeing some of the signs and you are putting the right foods in your diet based on your family history, based on some of the things that you are seeing your body, how it's reacting. And also, I want to talk about some of the things that we should be cautious about. What are the things that we are eating? What items are you eating that maybe you haven't thought about and you should be cautious because not that you should not eat them, but how you should eat them, or maybe there's something that you should be aware of. Okay. But before we get started, I like to always do my encouragement. Our encouragement for today is talking about health influenced factors. So, what are they? Well, I was talking with my son, and he works in the medical science community, the hospital community. And he was saying to me, Mom, what you're doing is a great idea. It's a good thing. And I think that you should continue to expand all of the different topics that you are talking about. And that's what we shall do this year as well as moving forward. However, he mentioned something to me just in our brief conversation, and he knows that I'm going to look into it. So thank you so much, Timothy. But today, I was looking up on the CDC.gov based on something that my son said to me. And he said, Mom, everything that you're talking about aligns up with the 5 deterrents of health. And I said, And he said, explore it more. And I want to see what you come up with. And so I started to look into it. I have not researched it the way that I ought to at this time. But today I want to introduce it to you because maybe you want to look it up. And as we move forward with the 5 deterrents of health, which are nutrition, lifestyle, environment, genetics, and medical care. We've been talking about all of these factors. And as we're talking more and more in our segments for the podcast, I may say something to refer to them, just so you know that this is where we are, what we're talking about, and how we should move forward on some of these issues. So let's go back to our regular program. So as we are talking about osteoporosis, and this is part 3, and we are talking about good bones, we're talking about healthy bones, whether you are diagnosed for osteoporosis or you have a history in your family, or it's just you want to just have healthy bones, living a good lifestyle. And I went online and I acquired some information from the Mayo Clinic. Of course, this is from the network and it's question and answer, as well as I went on to, there were some other ones, the cdc.gov. But there is a wonderful osteoporosis diet and nutrition, foods for bone health. It is on the Bone Health and Osteoporosis.org. So you can find that article there. I think it's a wonderful article. And in this, they're talking about how do you have good bones, right? So you go to the experts that are doing the research. They have been looking at the foods that we eat, what is in the foods that we eat, what is going to help us as we're moving forward. So one of the things that you all know that I love, low-fat uh, Greek yogurt. If I didn't tell you that before, I love it. So I buy it, and yeah, I don't make it. I know some of you out there are those individuals that make that type of food, and kudos to you, but I'm not that person. So I have to go to the supermarket and I actually have to buy it. And I put fresh fruits inside of my low fat Greek yogurt, but low fat, non fat milks, yogurt, and cheeses are the items that are promoted to help in if you have bone loss or osteoporosis. And the reason is because you need the vitamin D. So every time that we eat, there is a reason. Um, my other son, he said to me, he said, Mom, when I eat, I don't eat because it tastes good all the time. He said, I have specific times for when I eat pleasure foods. You know, he said, I'm every day I eat because it's good for me. And so I thought about that and I said, wow, that's a good thing. You know, he said, when we were younger, you used to make us eat foods that not necessarily we wanted to eat, but it was good for us. And so, I'm really thankful that my children have taken some of those things that I did impart into them as children, especially fruits and vegetables, making sure they're doing that in their daily vitamins and any supplements that are needed. Because a lot of times people say you don't need supplements, it's what you eat. And they're correct. It is what you eat. So if you're eating a healthy diet with fruits and vegetables and minerals, then you're absolutely correct. You do not need a supplement. However, if you are living in any place that does not have a variety of fruits and vegetables, then yes, you do need supplements. You need something else to add. That's one of the reasons why we do add calcium to our diets. We do add vitamin D to our diets, right? We do add collagen to our diets because sometimes we are not able, possibly because of financially, to be able to buy certain foods that are rich in those ingredients, those minerals, those vitamins every day. So we do buy supplements because they're a little cheaper. So in that, just keep it in mind. If you can get it in your foods, your fruits and your vegetables, your minerals, all of those different things, multigrains, by all means, then you wouldn't need as many supplements. Okay. But let's get back to the foods that we are eating. So one of the things I love, my husband hates, he hates, is canned sardines. I know some of you are like, what? Yes, canned sardines, the ones with the bones in them. I know you guys are like, what? But my parents, they literally raised me on canned sardines, right? Literally, not just canned sardines, but canned sardines, and we used to put them on crackers. The green crackers, and even the I think it was the saltine crackers back in the day, but they're different. Their product is totally different now, depending on which one you purchase. But we used to grow up, that was our snack. That was our snack for the day. And yes, canned sardines with the bones in them, you hear what I'm saying, with the bones in them, are high in calcium. These are things that sometimes you move away from, or I'll say me, because if my husband doesn't really like them, sometimes I don't buy them. So I went years without buying them because, the two shall become one, that kind of thing. But guess what, you guys? Those are good things for us to eat. And so now, guess who's back to eating them? Me. Yes. Okay. So the next thing that I want to talk about is salmon, right? Mackerel, tuna, sardines again. These are the things that are also high in vitamin D. And so we need to put them back in our diet. So I want you to start to think, what type of foods can you implement in your breakfast and your lunch and your dinner by some of the foods that I just mentioned? Think about it. I mentioned yogurt, right? I mentioned putting fruit in the yogurt. I also mentioned the canned sardines with the bones, and I said the you can get maybe multigrain crackers, things like that. So all these different things are options. Think about the salmon. How many wonderful things can you do with salmon? Come on. I've had so many salmon salads. I've eaten salmon, just regular salmon on my plate because it's delicious. And then you have your mackerel, right? And your tuna. Come on. All of these things can go on salads. All of these things can go into a nice sandwich, which has multi-grain bread. The more multigrain, the better, right? I would say, I know some of you are like, what? You know how you purchase your multigrain breads and it has 8 multigrains, 13 multigrains. Get the maximum that you can stand. Okay. And I say that because there's some that you buy and it's not that tasty. But I have found some that are delicious, delicious. And they're not paying me to say it, but I love the Arnold product. They even have the little, it's like a little circle sandwich, and you just open it up and I hate saying this, but I do love mayonnaise. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I like a little bit of mayonnaise on there, and I know that's not the best thing, but you should really choose maybe mustard, or there's some other sauces that you can choose. Maybe we'll talk about sauces, because a lot of times the sauce on anything, even the dressing on your salad, changes your environment. It changes everything, how you see that salad, how you view the meal, right? Whenever we are eating, it should be a pleasure to eat it, even if it's not as tasty. How do we make it tasty? Because there are things that can make it delicious. Okay. I'm being introduced to so many different new fruits now. And as we're moving forward, I'm going to also introduce those fruits to you. We all know about guava, but there's 2 different kinds that you can purchase. There's the larger one and there's the smaller one. The smaller one is more for your pureed. So if you're making a smoothie, your slushy, those type of things, you would use that one, because it is the pulp inside of it that is beneficial, has many, many nutrients, specifically some of the ones we're talking about. You have your vitamin D's and your, I think it's calcium and your K's, but also the larger of the guava. It's delicious. Cut it in half. You can make flowers out of it, put it inside of your salads when you're having brunch, or you're having different people over, or maybe it's just for your lunch. I do that a lot. So those that are at the campus, if you come in my office, you're going to see a nice salad, and you're going to see the different guava and slices that I'm now starting to embrace each day. I'm doing something different because this is going to become an experience for me, not where I have to do this, but I choose and I want to do this because I matter. I matter. So prepping my foods. I told you guys in the past how my son Timothy had told me, "Mom, prep your foods, prep your foods. You gotta prep your foods." And I resisted for so long. And now guess what I do? I find myself in the end of the day, before we're all about to prepare for the next day, and I find myself prepping my lunches for the next day. So majority of my lunch now, it's fruits and vegetables. Now, some of you may only eat a couple of times a day. Kudos to you. But my body says you need to have a little bit more. So what I do is I have um, my lunch and my breakfast. I take it with me. So I arrive early. I eat my breakfast while I'm preparing. And I suggest not eating your breakfast while you're doing something else. When I say prepare, I mean your mental preparation. So sitting alone, or you can sit with someone else. I am also utilizing not a dietary program, but I guess it is, but it's not. It's a psychology program. And I'm going to talk to you about that moving forward as I have better results, because right now I'm getting really good results in the psychology program that I'm using. But one of the things that they say is that you should really sit and enjoy your food, and that you should know why you're eating it. There's different reasons why we eat, how we eat. And the more you know, the better you can make a good decision about your next choice. And what better than to know about your eating? See, all of this goes All of this is working together, and I love it. I love it. For my faith-based people, you know where I'm going. Romans 8:28, the Bible says that all things work together for them who love God and who are called according to his purpose. So I believe that I am purposed by God to do just this, because I have been on a journey, and this journey has brought me to this moment in time that I had to relearn some things, and to, I would say, bring back some things that I learned as a child in my diet and in my environment, how I move forward, my thinking, my mental health. And so I'm sharing that with you. And I think all of these things make a difference. Okay. So let's move forward. Let's move forward, because I don't want to get too far away, because you know, guys, I love to talk. I love to talk to you. But there's some other things. Now, I know you've heard the thing, green, green, green. The darker the green vegetable, the better. And that is true. Okay. If you are out there and you love collard greens, you love um, spinach, you love dandelion greens, you love Chinese cabbage, you love turnips, kale, okra. Y'all know, see, it's an experience for me. These are all the things I grew up with as a child, and they are good for you. Now, be careful. Remember, I said I want to caution you to some things. As you're eating all of these wonderful fruits and vegetables, how you actually intake them in your body makes the difference. So sometimes if it's too raw, it may not be beneficial for you depending on your health. So you need to do research for your particular health. Some of you have some different things going on, so I really couldn't even speak to that. And I'm not a doctor, so I definitely can't speak to it. So talk to your doctor about that. But like I said, there's some things in the raw. Remember, if you're on chemo, raw food is not good for you. It needs to be steamed. But then the nutrients from it is good after it's steamed. However, there are some foods that are in the raw that are the best thing for you. Fruits, number one, in any smoothie, those type of things that are cleaned properly. But putting kale in there and dandelion greens, combinations of different things, you should be looking them up. How are they more beneficial for you? How is it not beneficial based on your particular health? All of these things. I know a lot of times we think, oh, well, if I just throw a bunch of greens inside there, I throw all these vegetables and stuff, it's going to make a difference. No, it's not going to make a difference. It could harm you. So you really need to find out, what are you eating? You know how they always say less is more? Sometimes it is. So why don't you make a smoothie if you know 4 ingredients, right? So if you know bananas are great for you, if you know, which provides sweetening, if you know that you like kale or okra, I wouldn't put okra in my smoothie. I'm just telling you guys, that's something that I would steam and eat on the side with a little tomato. Come on, y'all out there, y'all know that's good eating now. But as far as my smoothie, I may put some kale in there. I may put some, little dandelion green in there, just a little bit. And I would put a banana in there. And then I may choose to put something else in there. I have to see what I'm trying to put into my diet for the day, because when I went to my doctor and I did my blood work, my doctor may have said, Cheryl, you're down on these items. He could have said your magnesium, or he could have said your potassium. He could have said your vitamin D, your levels are low. So when my doctor tells me that, what do I need to do? Now I need to make sure that while I'm maintaining all the other vitamins in my system, I also are adding additional things daily. So then I am raising up that part that I'm missing. It is a science. Is it an exact science? Nah. We all have to work together. I believe God has made doctors and those that assist doctors, nurses and nurse practitioners, and we have our physical therapists. We have so many different people in the industry. We have our, individuals in administration in the medical field. Kudos, shout out to you there. And then we have the people like you and I who work in industries of careers, and we talk about what it is. Then we have our professors who are scientists, and we have different individuals in our community who are talking in regards to what? 5 deterrents of health. So there's people in a community working in policy, right? To make sure that you and I have what we need. There are individuals in education who are teaching what you and I need. There are individuals doing the research in science to do what we need. See, God made all these individuals. Romans 8:28. He made all these individuals. And then there's someone who practices, meaning they're the ones responsible to take the research. They're responsible to make sure that the education is going forward. But they're responsible to make sure that they take in all of that content when they're treating you. That is a huge responsibility. And that's why they go to school as long as they do. Think about that. Then you have the mental health counselors. They're there to make sure that your mind, body, and soul, right? Mind, body, come on. All these things work together. And then you have the people and faith. Like we are in the faith business, I say. My husband and I. And so these are the individuals that make sure that you are connected, whole in what you're doing. Is this important for your life purpose? Do you see how all these things work together for your good? So when we are in our walk in life and we're trying to separate these things, I've talked about a false balance is an abomination, and the just weight is his delight. That is what the word of God says. All of these things have to work together, not separate. And when we start to see them working together, when we start to see that, wow, I've been separating them, but they all work together. And they're almost like layers. You're putting them together and they work as a whole. So I'm speaking to you. I'm telling you my truth. I'm being as authentic as I can for how I was able to walk in victory, how I was able to see things differently, and to realize that, when we talked earlier in other podcasts, we talk about faith without works is dead. If I speak faith and all I speak is faith, and all I speak is faith, and all I speak is faith, but I have no works, I don't work on my good health. I don't even know what that looks like. I'm picking up things and putting them in my mouth, and I don't know what that is that I'm doing, right? If I'm not exercising, if I'm not walking every day, if I'm not making sure that the body that I am a resident in, or I am in, come on, people. If I am not taking care of this and I am working crazy hours every single day, not getting enough sleep, not getting enough exercise, if I'm that person and I am driven to accomplish something that someone may never even remember. Let's be honest. What we do, we go out each and every day and we hope that we are acknowledged for the things that we do. But what you do today, hopefully someone remembers it tomorrow. Hopefully someone remembers it a century from now. But they might not. And so every day of your life, it should be purposeful. Why are you doing it? Are you doing it for a greater good? Or are you just doing it? Like, are you just being? And I know I got totally off topic, but I'm talking to many of you because at first I had to say this to myself. We do a lot of good things in life. We do a lot of good things. But is it the purpose thing you are called to do? There's some things that you do that nobody else can do. And sometimes it may not be the thing that is the most popular, but it brings people joy. It brings peace. It brings harmony. That's how you know you're tapping into the things that you're called to do. When you know you show up in a scene and you bring balance. Don't let people take that from you. Don't let your environment take that from you. Don't let those that you work with take that from you. You are that person. I know each and every one of you you've experienced something like that in your life. Tap into it. Tap into it. And give out who you are in this life to others, because that's what matters. Each of us are so unique. We're so different. And it's important that we are alive for a period of time to be able to experience life and to give back. Why we are here. What are you here for? Are you giving back? So as we're moving forward, I want you guys to think about, how am I actually preparing my foods? Am I getting the right vitamins? Am I getting calcium, vitamin D? Am I getting vitamin K? Am I getting magnesium? Am I getting potassium in my diet? I know I'm taking my my daily vitamin, right? But am I getting the foods? What foods am I eating for breakfast, lunch, and dinner that has a combination of all of these in them? If every day you are making sure that one of the foods, at minimum, one of the foods in your breakfast, lunch, and dinner has the nutrients, the minerals that you need for that day. Forget about days, that day, right? Focus on that day. If you focus on that day and you do well, then you focus on another day and you do well. Then you focus on another day and you do well. Before you know, a week has gone by and you did well. And before you know it, a month has gone by and you did well. And then months, and you go back to your doctor and your doctor says, whatever you are doing is excellent. Keep up the good work, because I see your levels raising up where they need to in your vitamins and your minerals. Or the doctor could say, your cholesterol was high, but whatever you're doing, you have been lowering it. What have you been doing? There's a reason they're asking you, because statistics. So when you tell them, well, doctor, I've been doing this, doctor writes that down. Well, I have had so many patients that have been doing this, and this is what has happened. See, I'm just telling you, that's how it works. And additional studies where people don't know that they're gathering research. So keep up the good work. You guys are doing an excellent job. I want you to continue to watch. I want you to continue to do this journey with me, because we win. We all win. We're going to work together and we're going to do what we need to make this happen, right? So I just want you to know that, making sure that you're doing your research for your own health as we are working together, as we are sharing. I want this week you guys to share something that we talked about. Share something with someone that can help them in their future. If someone mentions to you that they have a history of osteoporosis, if they mention to you they've dealt with cancer, if they mention to you that they've dealt with some chronic disease, what have you learned so far that you could share with them? And it could change their lives. Isn't that what it's all about? Changing someone's life. You don't have to do a whole lot. It's just got to be the right thing at the right moment. Okay? So this is Shirley Farrar, and we are going to end today. I'm so glad that you joined me. And this is Encouragement on Fire, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.